Here we go.
Oh, you ready?
Almost there. Yep, we're ready. We're ready.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw the recording live.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it just got on. It just got on the live, like literally that moment. All right, there we go. Yep, I'm ready wherever you are, bro.
All right. So Matthew 19 coming out of Aramaic Peshitta. Okay, here we go. And so it was when Yahushua had finished these sayings, he picked up from Galilee and he came to the borders of Yehuda to the other side of the Jordan. And great crowds came after him and he healed them there. And the Pharisees came to him and they were testing him and they were saying, "Is it legal for a man to divorce his wife for any cause?" But he answered and said to them, "Have you not read that he who made from the beginning made them male and female? And he said, Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the two of them shall be one flesh. Therefore they were not two, but one flesh. The things, therefore, that Yahuwah has united, let not a man separate." They were saying to him, "Why therefore did Moshe command to give a writing of divorce and to send her away?" He said to them, "Moshe, confronting the callousness of your heart, or the hardness of your heart, let you divorce your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. But I say to you, whoever divorces his wife apart from adultery and will take another commits adultery. And whoever will take her who is divorced commits adultery." His disciples were saying to him, "If the accusations are thus between a man and a wife, it is not expedient to take a wife." But he said to them, "Not every man can receive this saying, except he to whom it is given. For there are eunuchs who are born so from their mother's womb, and there are eunuchs who became eunuchs by men, and there are those who have made themselves eunuchs because of the kingdom of Shamayim. Whoever can receive it, let him receive it." And they brought children to him that he might lay his hand upon them and pray. And his disciples rebuked them. Yahushua said to them, "Let the children come to me and do not forbid them, for the kingdom of Shamayim belongs to such as these." And he laid his hand upon them and went on from there. And one came near and said to him, Teacher, what two things shall I do that I may have eternal life?" But he said to him, "Why do you call me Tube? There is none Tube except Yahuwah alone. But if you want to enter life, keep the commandments." He said to him, "Which ones?" But Yahushua said to him, "You should not murder, you should not commit adultery, you should not steal, you should not testify falsely, honor your father and your mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself." The young man said to him, "I have kept all these from my childhood. What am I lacking?" Yahushua said to him, "If you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in Shamayim, and come after me." But that young man heard this saying, and he went away as he was grievous to him, but he had many possessions. But Yahushua said to his disciples, "So be it, I say to you, that it is difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of Shamayim. And again I say to you that it is easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of Yahuwah." But the disciples, when they heard, they were greatly amazed, and they were saying, "Who then can have life?" Yahushua gazed at them, and he said to them, "This is impossible with the children of men, but everything is possible with Yahuwah." Then Kepha answered and said to him, "Behold, we have left everything and we have come after you. What then will happen to us?" Yahushua said to them, "Surely I say to you, who have come after me, in the new world, when the Son of Man sits on the throne of his esteem, you also will sit on 12 thrones." Give me a second. My phone's about to die.
Uh-oh.
But Yahushua said to his disciples, "So be it, I say to you, that it is difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of Shamayim. And again I say to you, that it is easier for a camel than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of Yahuwah." But the disciples, when they heard, they were greatly amazed, and they were saying, Who then can have life? Yahushua gazed at them, and he said to them, this is impossible with the children of men, but everything is possible with Yahuwah. And Kepha answered and said to him, behold, we have left everything, and we have come after you. What then will happen to us? Yahushua said to them, surely I say to you who have come after me, in the new world, when the Son of Man sits on the throne of his esteem, you also will sit on 12 thrones, and will judge the 12 tribes of Yasharal. And every man who leaves a house, or brother, or sister, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or towns, for my name's sake, each will receive 100-fold, and will inherit eternal life. But many are first, who will be last, and the last ones will be first. It's Matthew 19.
Hallelujah. This chapter in most translations is where we unfortunately get the false understanding that if you marry someone that is divorced, that you're sinning. Okay, this is the problem. We don't understand the difference between put away and divorce. And unfortunately, our good old buddy King Jimmy and many translators after him translate this word as divorce when in the context is talking about being put away. Okay, one of the few translations that actually did this correctly in Matthew 19 is known as the Son of Man Bible. And it says here, and he even gives you footnotes why he translates that Greek word for put away and not divorce. Okay, so starting at verse 7, it said, why then did Masha command us to give a certificate of divorce and then to send her away? Two distinct actions. Putting away is separate from divorce. Okay. Then it says lawful divorce in quotations here, or, parentheses, you can find in Deuteronomy 24, 1-4. Okay. He said to them, for your hardness of heart, Masha allowed you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not that way. And we see that connection. Remember how we read earlier today, how Masha put away his wife Zipporah for a purpose, it seems like probably because we were hinting that maybe it was because he was going back to Egypt. She wouldn't be under his covering when he's going back to Egypt to do what he had to do. Okay. Verse 9, it says, I say to you, whoever, the word here is put away, not divorce. It should say put away. I know most translations for verse 9 have divorce. Okay. It should say, I say to you, whoever puts away his wife, except for sexual immorality, okay, and marries another, commits adultery. Why? Because you are still married and you're marrying someone else. And the man who marries a woman who is put away commits adultery. And this translator, actually, I like how the translator after the verse puts a footnote with parentheses. You can find this concept in Malachi 2:16. Okay. And it says that Yahuwah hates putting away. Yahuwah does not hate divorce. Okay. All right. The disciples said to Yahushua, that is, if that is the case of a man with his wife, it is not two to marry. So they're like, if we got such a strict standard that we only have one reason to put away our wives, we have to wait for her to sin against us. We shouldn't marry at all. And Yahushua said to them, not everyone can accept this teaching, but only those who are allowed to accept it. Meaning that, if you want to, not everyone could refrain from marriage, but if you can accept it, hey, more power to you. That's the way I would paraphrase that verse. So Yahushua there is not saying everyone should be not married. That's not what he's saying. I know the Catholic Church would interpret it that way. That's not what it's saying. He's saying some people cannot accept this teaching. So, but the point is here is that in verses 9 to, I would say verse 9 and 10 here, because translators have a personal bias against divorce, they've actually put their preconceived bias on that word, and they've created a doctrine that is nowhere in scripture. Nowhere are we commanded that we cannot marry a woman that has already been given a certificate of divorce. That's not a sin at all. So that's the problem I have with most of these translators, is that it's almost like on purpose they mistranslated for divorce. because they have this Christian doctrine in their heads. Well, see, this is the chapter we know Yahusha told us we should not marry a divorced person. So you got like even people from my mother's generation that would once they get divorced, they can never marry again. There's nowhere in the Torah it says that. Nowhere does it say that. There's no restriction for that. You can't get married after you've been divorced once. So I just wanted to make that clear that in Matthew 19, it should say put away, not divorce in that context. And anyway, so I just wanted to make a mention of that just because that seems to be something that we don't fully understand today in the body of Messiah, is the difference between put away and divorce. So anyway, go ahead, Joshua. I see you had your hand up.
I'd just say that I think it would have to be when Marshall put his wife away. I think it would have to be sometime after they went back to Mitzrayim, because doesn't it say that they were already going back to Mitzrayim together when she circumcised her son? Weren't they already heading back at that time?
No, I don't even think Masha was there when Gershom was being circumcised, right? In Exodus 4.
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't think Moses was there. I don't think he was there because it seems to be alluding that Yahusha pre-incarnate as the messenger of Yahuwah, he's going to Zipporah and the baby, and he's actually about to kill the baby. Because that baby's not circumcised. So and actually she circumcises the baby, and depending on the version you have, I remember one of the Targums actually expounds by saying that this circumcision, the blood of this circumcision has atoned for my husband, and meaning that her husband was really guilty of this. It was his fault. But there is no, it doesn't seem to allude that Masha was there when it happened. He would have not been there when it seems like he would have already been going back to Egypt at that point. Go ahead, Joshua.
That is going beyond the call of motherhood.
It seems to say otherwise, because in Exodus 4:23, and this is coming from the Septuagint, it says, starting in verse 23, and I said to you, send away my people that they may serve me. Now if you will not send them away, see, I will kill your firstborn. And it came to pass that the Malach of Yahuwah met him by the way in the inn and sought to kill him. And Zipporah, having taken a stone, cut off the foreskin of her son and fell at his feet and said, the blood of the circumcision of my son is established. So verse 24 says it's the Malach of Yahuwah is meeting him. Referring, in the context, it seems to be referring to Martha.
Now you got
this game.
Now we got noise from our side. Yeah, this is a wonderful day today. People
They're out there plowing.
Heathens gotta be making noise all day.
Got that alarm going on. Back it up.
So with Brother
Joshua,
Joshua,
I've got music playing to the right of me. To the back
it's
of me.
not just from your side, bro. It's from my side too.
It's
Wonderful.
a circus today.
It's a whole heathen circus today. A good
Saying
God.
a 3-ringer.
All right, yeah. So I think I get what Joshua was bringing to my attention here was the fact that it seems like Moses was present for this happening. So I would have to take that back. So yeah, so maybe the putting away of Zipporah happened after that incident, possibly. We know it happened at some point because by the time you get to Exodus 18 today, we see that she's being put away for a time, or she has been put away for a time temporarily when he wasn't with her. So I don't know what the purpose was. We're not really given an answer for that. So but anyway, I just wanted to show in Matthew 19 that mistranslation of that chapter causes us to accept a legalistic adding to Torah because it's mistranslated and people actually think it's wrong to marry someone that's divorced, and that when you get divorced you can never marry again. That's what you would call adding to his word. Okay, he does not ever command that. Yahusha would not be going against himself.
No.
The Torah says that it says that for putting away, that you can only put someone away for except the cause of fornication. It does not say divorce for that. You can divorce someone without it being fornication. There is a difference. So you can look that up in Deuteronomy 24, especially if you look at the Septuagint version, and the Greek word for unbecoming is not just sexually. Okay, so it's very general. If a man is not pleased by his wife, he can send her away, which, by the way, is also in Exodus. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet, but Exodus 21, next week's portion, gets into that. So that if a female servant that you betrothed to yourself, if she doesn't please you anymore, you are actually required to set her free and to let her marry another, and to basically divorce her. You can't hold her to you if she's not pleasing you. So anyway, so I just wanted to make a mention of that, because that's a huge misconception we learned in the church, huge misconception. So anyway, but anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And thank you, Brother Joshua, for mentioning that to me, though, about Masha and Zipporah. That Masha, it seems like he would have been, he probably was present for the messenger of Yahuwah coming to him, and Zipporah, and when Gershom was at the age of circumcision. And the context there, you can read it for yourself, is that Masha originally didn't circumcise the boy for whatever reason. And that's a whole nother can of worms, what the Masoretic does to that chapter. I don't know if we've talked about that before, but it makes Zipporah look like a crazy mad woman. That, oh, you're a husband of blood to me, or I forget, it's some stupid like
Even beyond that, I think the real discussion needs to be why Moses, of all people, who knows the law,
wouldn't circumcise his son on the 8th day.
gave the law, knows the law, whatever, would not have.
Yeah.
That's the point that I would like to get down to, is why in the Harry.
Yeah.
Would
So
he have
we're
not
so Brother
circumcised
Joshua
him?
and us are referring here to Exodus 4:25. Zipporah, having taken a stone off the foreskin of her son, fell at his feet and said, "Behold, the circumcision of my son is staunched." And he departed from him, because she said, "The blood of the circumcision of my son is staunched." Now, when you look at the Masoretic, it's like very weird. It's like you're a husband of blood guilt to me, or some stupid.
Yeah,
It makes her like look like she's some weird vindictive woman. She said, yeah, husband of a bloody husband you are, because of the circumcision. So it makes it look like she's mad at him for circumcising her son. Makes no sense at all with the context, and even the Targums disagree with the Masoretic version of Exodus 4:26. So it actually points to the blood of her son's circumcision was like a foreshadowing in the Targums, is a foreshadowing to the atonement of Yahusha. And it talks about how the blood of my son's circumcision atoned for my husband. So, it's kind of interesting. So, but the Masoretic version makes no logical sense whatsoever. It just makes her out look like the bad guy. Kind of like how Jubilees, when we did that Jubilees exposed study, how they turn Isaac's mother into some crazy mad woman that was mad at that hated Ishmael for no reason, and it makes her look like the bad person. So anyway, so I really don't understand that concept, why the Masoretes changed that in verse 26. I mean, it varies so differently between the two texts there of Exodus 4:26. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for joining us today, and have a great rest of your Sabbath, all of our brothers and sisters out there. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.